introduction to the five rhythms. The five rhythms is one of my 9 major energy systems, and each body meridian, which is our energy highways that go through our body, is connected to a rhythm. And I'm giving you this background, so I want you to just hear the words, and then I'm going to put some pictures to it so you can pull it all together into one. So we have 9 major energy systems. There are more, but we're going to only deal with 9. Each energy meridian is connected to a rhythm. The meridians are the body's energy highways, which brings energy to and from your organs and their systems that they operate with and that they function and govern. The rhythms are over 5,000 years old, and they've been mapped by Chinese physicians. Before we had images and anything to record any kind of energy through our bodies, they were mapping it because they could sense it, they could feel it, they could see it. And everything that they sensed and felt and saw was very accurate. There were no changes made through the years once we started using the doubting egos that we have, especially in the medical field, which I'm a part of. Then they started looking for ways to image it to prove that it was true, and they all have proven to be true. So very, very old systems of energy. The rhythms are associated with the seasons and the elements of those seasons. So water is associated with winter. Wood is associated with spring. Fire is summer. Earth is equinox, and metal is fall. The rhythm is a term that we use to describe the seasons of the elements. And the rhythms describe the qualities of our energy fields rather than it being just an element, because the rhythm shows the flow of how we move through this cycle of energy. And all this is going to make a whole lot more sense when you see the picture. Each rhythm contains 2 meridians, except for the fire, and that one contains 4. So here's a standard picture of the 5 elements. You see water, wood, fire, earth, and metal, and they go around the clock in that order, starting with water. Water's the beginning of everything. We began as water, and then it goes around through the seasons, the elements, okay, the rhythms. The rhythms are pertaining to the way that the energy flows through each one of these elements and each one of the meridians, and that creates that rhythm and that balance between us. Each of the elements and the rhythms are associated with an actual element. Water's water, wood, wood, right? Fire, fire, earth, earth, metal, metal. So it's all of those elements of the earth that make up this rhythm cycle. So you'll see that a lot of pictures that depict that through the years. But I changed a little bit of that. This is my conceptual model of the rhythm cycle. I took out the circles and I put in the colors a little bit differently because they represent the elements and the meridians that are attached to the rhythms themselves. And there's a flow cycle where we go from water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. That's our flow cycle. And then we have a control cycle. The control cycle helps us to be in a better balance with our emotions. When a part of us starts to get a little upset or a little sad, the control cycle comes along and says, okay, you've felt sad long enough. It's time to rebalance this energy. And so our bodies have this built-in mechanism to just pull back on that sad energy and replace it with some happy energy. And that's the background colors that you see behind the dynamic spikes, okay? So that's the rhythm and the flow cycle, the flow and control cycle. I also added in spirit in the center. In all my research, at the time, there was no mention, no documentation, nothing that actually represented spirit being present, even though it, he, however you want to phrase it, has always been present and it's always been implied. But I put it in the center with the purple as the highest value of the chakras. And I created this when I was doing my doctoral work, and my whole doctoral work was based on the 5 rhythms and how we can be less inclined to chronic health issues based on the 5 rhythms. So that's how this came about. But also, you see, there's no circles here anymore, okay? It's all the dynamic ups and downs. And that's because as I was creating this, I realized that energy doesn't belong in a circle. It is dynamic and it fluctuates. And within each one of these little pie shapes, the yellow, the gray, the blue, the green, and the red is the area of where we have balance. And within that balance, the energy is still going to spike up and down. And that's normal. Okay, we're going to have fluctuations up and down and up and down. We'll have high moods, low moods, but it doesn't mean we're not in balance. It's when we step outside the little pie shape with the up and down and we don't get back into the pie that we become unbalanced. And then the emotions that are overcoming us start to become our daily practice instead of a once in a while or an occasional thing. And that's what I see so much of is people are stuck out of their pie of balance and they can't get back into that balanced state. And there I spend a great deal of time teaching people how to regain that balance. This is an image of meridians. There are 14 meridians that go through our body. They're all connected to an organ and the system that the organ operates with. There's a beginning and an end point. A lot of them begin and end on the hands and the feet. Some begin and end on the torso of the body. All the little dots you see are acupressure points or acupuncture points, where an acupuncturist would stick a needle in, and for an acupressurist like myself, we use our fingertips to stimulate the energy flow through these meridians, which either delivers energy or it helps it to back off a bit, depending on what we're doing with it and how it works. But this is how the meridians look in our body. And now combining together the rhythm wheel and the meridians, you can see down at water, we have kidney and bladder attached, which so rightly said, water has to do with kidney and bladder. Wood, the green, has gallbladder and liver. Fire, the summer, has small intestine, triple warmer, heart, and circulation, sex. Earth is the yellow with spleen and stomach, and metal is autumn with lung and large intestine. So these are where the respective meridians are located at within the rhythm cycle and within each center of the rhythm. For the rest of the classes, I will talk about the liver, which will be wood and fire, and then I'll talk about earth and metal at the third class. Today, I'm going to focus on water with the bladder and kidney, in addition to the introduction here. And I hope I haven't lost anybody, but ask your questions, okay? Rhythms and emotions. Each rhythm is associated with a balanced and an unbalanced emotion, behavior, or an attitude, because it makes up who we are. Our rhythms are us. It's how people get to know us by how our personalities are. Our personalities are formed and shaped from the rhythms. And that's how our emotions will be, depending on the state that our rhythms are in. If we're unbalanced, our emotions are going to be flying off the handle. But when we're in balance, we're going to be having all that peace and joy and love to be able to share, and that wisdom that we all have. So we really want to focus on being in the balanced state instead of unbalanced, like this little guy is gripping his desk. You know how, and we all get like that. Number one, right here, I've had plenty of this and still do. But we learn how to recognize when we are out of balance, and then we learn how to use the tools to create that balance back again, so we don't wind up like him and we stay happy like the little yellow sun dot on the beach, a smile. So hold on a second here. I think I have, no, okay. Oops, back. All right. So balanced rhythms and emotions. So each one of them has a balanced and the unbalanced. So water, balanced rhythms, hope, courage, belief, and the thrill of possibility are the emotions that you're going to find when you have a balanced water element or a balanced rhythm. In wood, it'll be assertiveness, kindness towards yourself, and generosity of spirit. In fire is passion and joy and peace and the thrill of loving. Earth is about compassion, caring, and sympathy. And compassion, not just towards others, but specifically towards self. Because remember, these are our rhythms, our emotions. And metal is going to be about inspiration, faith, awe, and satisfaction. In the energetic unbalanced state, this occurs with stress of any type. And I mean any type of stress. Birthdays, holidays, weddings, retirements, births, vacations. They are all very, very stressful. You think about the last time you went on a vacation, how many weeks did you prepare in advance, trying to get this arranged, that arranged, this didn't work, pack your bags, oh, this fell out, oh, the kids aren't ready, on and on and on. So even fun things are very stressful for us. And then we have the things that are not fun, such as accidents. And then there's work stressors, and there's weather stressors, environmental stressors like we're experiencing right now, and relationship stressors. And the emotions that you could feel as a broad spectrum of fear, anger, anxiousness, worry, and grief. I don't know what I just clicked here. Where did I go? Okay. All right. The unbalanced rhythm emotions. In water, you're going to experience fear, negativity, suspicion, despair, and paranoia. With wood, it's all about anger and frustration, impatience, and irritation. And fire, it's panic, hysteria, and anxiety. And in earth, there'll be overcompassion for others and excessive worry. And in the overcompassionate state, we become codependent of others. And that's where this overcompassionate emotion begins. And then in metal, we have a feeling of emptiness and self-righteousness and judgmental. So I want to go to the question box here. I just want to make sure I don't have anybody waiting to get into this chat room here. Okay, Catherine, do we have some questions then?
I don't have any right now, except for someone had asked about some handouts that we could share, and I'm sure that there are some things that we could get to people later. I do have a question, if you don't mind, can I go first?
Sure.
How do I know where I am? When you're talking about water being sort of this organizing principle that with the emotions and all that represents, how do I fluctuate between water and at least my psyche does anyway. I could be fearful one moment and then angry the next. Do we cycle through all of these rhythms on a daily basis? It's not just limited to the season that we're in, but how do I begin to understand more about where I am so that I can be present to try to not stay in the stuckness and then not be able to get back into balance? So I probably asked about 10 questions there, but.
Yeah, I get it. I understand your questions. So first I will clarify by saying we all experience all of these. The elemental wheel, the flow cycle, the control cycle, all of the rhythms are who we are. We have all of this within us all the time. And we will move between each rhythm depending on what does the situation call for. So maybe I'm feeling just like really, really happy and joyful because I just was with my grandson and I still feel that great fun time we had. And then I come home and somebody broke through my door. So then all of a sudden I instantly go into anger, or maybe I get fearful of like, what happened here? And so I'm going to go between all of those rhythms for whatever the situation calls for. Okay, it's how we respond to everything in the world. It's all connected to that. So we're going to have an initial response, which is maybe, all right, I was angry when I saw the door was broken into. Then I start to think, well, but maybe somebody got hurt, or maybe it wasn't a break-in and whatever. And then I get out of my anger when I see nothing really was damaged. So I go back to being balanced. And I'm okay with things. Then I'm back to my normal balanced state. So you see how that we go in between, in and out of all of these rhythms, depending on what are we faced with. Maybe I'm at work, I'll just use my example from when I was in the hospital working. I needed to be really assertive. And so I called on my wood element, my wood rhythm, to give me that assertiveness during my hours of work. And when I left work, I couldn't make a decision. I just like, that was enough of that. So now I'm going to just step into a graceful, peaceful time and let decisions just lie to the side for a while so I can just regroup myself. So you see, you go in between all of those depending on what you need for the time to get through it.
So it's almost like trying to take the better part of each rhythm and learn when you're done making decisions, when you come home, don't put yourself in another situation where you have to make a bunch of decisions.
Well, for me, that's the right thing to do because I need a break. Like, you know, I know if I don't take the break from always being assertive, then I start to get cranky and frustrated and tired. And then I get all kinds of things I don't want to have happen to me. So that's how we get, when we get really tired, think about what's the first thing that you respond with. That's the rhythm that you've stepped into in that unbalanced phase. But when you recognize it, you can say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm done with this. Gail, stop this and just take a deep breath and let it go. and go back into being balanced and at peace and happy with myself.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Gail. We do have another question. How do you differentiate being over compassionate and being highly sensitive or an emotional empath?
Okay, just read that to me just one more time.
How do you differentiate between being an over compassionate person and being highly sensitive or an emotional empath? So it looks like I might be over compassionate. I think you referenced the codependency versus I'm a person who I'm an emotional empath and I'm highly sensitive.
Right. So someone who is highly sensitive to other people's energies and the world about them generally are that empathic person. I am an empathic person, and many of us energy workers are empaths. Many nurses are empaths. And where you draw the line between having a positive empathic relationship with yourself and the world and a non-positive is when I take on someone else's problems to alleviate their problem. That's going to put me in an unbalanced state. And that is over the top, over compassionate, because I can be just as compassionate with someone and help meet their needs, but I don't need to take on that issue into me to help them get better. I can teach them how to release it for themselves so that they don't have to deal with all of that empathic stuff that they're taking in. See, we have to learn how to stop sucking in all the world's problems and making them our own. And that takes a lot of self-discipline to want to be able to turn all that off for the rest of the world, still be able to do what it is that you do without sucking it in and making it yours, and then that eventually makes you sick. You know, so I've had to learn that balance. I have compassion and I have great love and great caring for others and for their issues, but I no longer bring that issue into me and make it my own and get sick from it. Does that clarify that for whoever asked that beautiful question?
It was a great question. Christine, if she says thank you. That was a really good question.
Great. Okay, I'm just letting another person in the room here. Okay, any other questions while we're here on question page? Okay, so I will move on. Get that out of the way. So I'm going to step into water now and focus basically on water. And the unbalanced emotions are fear, negativity, suspicion, despair, and paranoia. And as I mentioned before, it can be caused by any stress, whether it started out being a positive experience and turned into a stressful one, or if it was always a stressful experience. And we can become stuck in those unbalanced emotions. We're going to always experience the opposite of the joy and the love and the happiness. We will always have that because we're human. But it's when we get stuck in these unbalanced emotions, that's when it starts to affect our life, our quality of life, and how our relationships go. How are we able to meet our goals and live our daily lives? Very much affected by being stuck in the muck there. Okay. So the way that we get stuck into these undesirable emotions is that the stress, this is how the stress process works. We have the stress event, and then the triple warmer system kicks in to the fight flight response. Triple warmer is one of the 9 systems that governs the stress responses, and it keeps us with the fight flight so we can respond appropriately. And maybe freeze is included in there. Maybe we don't do anything, maybe we run away, or maybe we fight. It depends on what's called for at the time. But so this system activates and puts us into the right mode of what we need to do at the time. The stress response that we have changes the pathway of the energy flow. And on a temporary basis, this is all fine and good. But it's with that persistent stress response, there's a new undesirable pathway that's fully created for the energy to flow through. Okay? And then the normal pathways where energy should be flowing through could be reduced, could be blocked, or then the energy just takes an alternative route. So on the short term, the triple warmer is good. It kicks us into gear, and we can get active, and we can resolve problems and situations. We can react in emergencies, and be very productive with that. And that's what we want. But it's when this becomes a chronic issue is when we start becoming unbalanced. Okay, so with triple warmer and water's emotional response, the fear of water occurs with a threat. Once the threat is passed, the fear resolves. This is, again, I'm reinforcing, we all do this as a normal thing, but what we don't want is to be stuck with it. So with the repeated threats, or if the threat is significant enough of an event, the triple warmer stress response hangs on because it doesn't really know how to shut off. It will keep going, and especially with repeated stress, it's just going to keep us in that fear mode without ever recovering back into having the joy and the creativity that water has to offer us. So now our stress response becomes our normal way of functioning instead of coming and going out of this fear as it is really dictated by the situation. We're just going to be fearful all the time. Right? We're afraid of traffic. We're afraid of water. Maybe somebody pushed our face in the water one too many times. So now we're afraid of water. We're afraid of swimming. We're afraid of boating. Anything to do with water. Maybe it's fear of thunderstorms. Whatever the initiate was for the fear. So energy flow slows down through our normal pathways, takes the different pathways. It takes the pathway of the fear, or it can become blocked completely. And then we don't have that energy fueling those centers that need it. And when we do the energy work, we open up those blocked areas. We can remove those, restore the normal flow for the energy to be coming through again. And open that up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. I don't feel that fear anymore. And that's because the energy is now flowing through those meridians to the organs and then through the whole system, because every organ, every meridian, every system, they're all connected like little micro connections. It's all one system, just as the meditation card, oneness. We are one system, and everything affects everything. Okay. So I'm going to make sure everybody has muted their computer and their phones, okay? So what happens next? So any stressful moment can produce fear response now that you're conditioned. Okay, so we're really conditioned now to respond to fear nicely because I had my face stuck in the water one too many times by my brother. So now I'm afraid of water. So that used to be the fear. But now it's like this dog over here is making me fearful. And then maybe it's this traffic over here that's making me fearful. And now I'm so afraid because of this virus thing that's going around this world. And now I am just totally conditioned to respond to fear or with fear. And everything that I respond to starts with the fear. And from there, it just snowballs. And I'm stuck there, I'm blocked, and I can't get out of it. I don't know how to stop being afraid. Okay. Fear becomes your first response to any situation that has any kind of stress to it. And then it starts taking less and less stress to produce that fear response over time. Okay. But changing is possible. You have the power to change. And when you recognize you have the power to change, you can do that. The fear stops you from thinking you have any capability of doing anything right for yourself. But you have your own power. So own your own power and take it back. We all have choice. So be certain that you're using your choice to say, you know what? I know that that makes me feel fearful, but I'm going to choose to try to do something different today instead of being fearful. Right? We do have choice. And we recognize that we've got that choice, all of a sudden things change so much more beautifully for us. It's not so difficult to make changes when we realize how powerful that we really are and that we do have choice and we do have control over ourselves. And that's all we have control over is ourselves. We don't control anything else in this world but us. So using your choice could be difficult at first, but I'd like to say don't ever give up. Don't ever give up trying, because then you just succumb back into that mode of fear and you're immobilized and you don't have a life because everything is making you afraid. So never give up. It's always possible to remove that which is taking away from you. So stay in your power. And one of the ways to do that is to silence your ego. All of the emotions that have non-positive results, non-positive thoughts, things that don't make us feel joy and love and safe and secure is all from our ego. You know, this little brain up here is nothing but a troublemaker. It's a 2-year-old who always wants its own way and is always screaming and feeding us with the opposite of what the situation really calls for. So let's silence the ego. And when you notice you're getting yourself, or not getting yourself, but when you notice something is working up in you and you're feeling like you're out of control, if you just say, ego, be quiet, and you step into your heart, you'll be amazed at what power that gives you. And then you can hear your heart say, but it's not that bad. It's okay. You'll be all right. The dish didn't break. Okay. Then the ego said, yeah, but so-and-so dropped it for the 3rd time after you told them not to do it. You should be mad at them. And then you take a break and say, silent ego. And your heart says, but we'll just give ego some love and some blessing, and we'll just let everything be fine and peaceful. And this is how the dialogue goes between heart and ego. And if I silence my ego once a day, I silence it 1,000,000 times a day. Because it's always chatting. Scatter chatter is what I call it all the time. Scatter chatter, scatter chatter. because it gets you scattered all over the place, chasing down rabbit holes after stuff that aren't even there, and totally unproductive for you. Now, we do need our ego because it does help us discern things. And we do need that for a lot of feeling proud and pride and getting us through daily life, but we don't need it controlling us and chat, and just controlling all the time up here. And no matter what you try to do, you just hear this chat. Like, for many years, my ego was telling me, you're no good, you're stupid, you're lazy, you're dumb, you're fat, you're ugly. That's what I grew up with. And so that ego constantly barraged me with that information. And my heart never got heard. It was never heard till much later in life that I know I had a heart to listen to. All I thought was, that's all I knew. So the thoughts are important. And it's important to know that thoughts come from ego. Feelings come from heart. So when you step out of the thought and you step into the heart, you have your feelings. And then you can feel the peace and the love and the gratitude and the courage that we all have. So restoring your balanced emotions. So step one, the most important thing is you have to breathe. Because the first thing that happens to us when we get into a shocked position or a scared position or angry, we just stop breathing. We hold it in, our shoulders go up, we clench our arms to our side, we get fists, and we're not breathing, we're not relaxing, there's no oxygen going through our body, our brains are being deprived of it. And then that stress response escalates and escalates and escalates. And then we're like down the roller coaster, okay? So breathing, really important. Tell yourself to breathe whenever you start noticing an unbalanced time so that you can restore that balance. If you inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth, you're making a connection, an energetic connection with your meridians at the back of the throat. Okay? And that helps to provide the safety and security that we're trying to feel. Because of the meridians that it's connecting, those are the two that provides that for us. It also helps us relax because when we take in a deep breath and we release it, then we can let go of tension. So our stress response is reduced. We also oxygenate our tissues. So then we keep the blood in our forebrain instead of it going to our hindbrain, which is the unbalanced response area. If we keep oxygen circulating and we have blood in the front of the brain, then we can't have anxiousness, we can't have fear, we can't have the anger. All of those extraneous emotions won't be there because the brain is functioning smoothly. And then you can always add visualization to your breathing if you desire. So I'm going to take you through a little breathing exercise. And you can play with this and have fun with this in any way that you see that you would benefit from. But it's pretty powerful. So just make sure you're comfortable and get your feet flat on the floor and go ahead and close your eyes. And I'd like you to breathe in through your nose, really deep. Push your belly out when you inhale and exhale through your mouth and let your tummy push in as you exhale. This is the belly breathing. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And do that again. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Now, I'm going to take you on a journey with your breathing. So as you inhale this next time, I want you to inhale And bring that breath in straight into the heart center. So breathe in and pull that energy, that breath in through the heart, and breathe straight out the heart. Exhale. And breathe into the heart and exhale through the heart. Breathe in through the heart and exhale through your feet. Inhale through your feet. Bring that breath up through your feet. And exhale through your heart. Breathe in through the heart. And exhale through the top of your head or your crown chakra. Breathe in through the crown chakra and exhale through the heart. Breathe in through the heart and exhale to the feet and the crown at the same time. Exhale and bring that, or inhale again through the crown and the feet and bring that breath right back to the heart and let it make a nice circle. And exhale back out the heart. Okay, so anybody noticing anything different with this breathing pattern? How you felt relaxed, how you felt love coming through your breath, connecting you to the universe, connecting you to the earth, and coming together at the center. This provides a beautiful balance. And you can do this any way you want, but coming in and out of the heart is going to really relax the body, reduce the stress response, because when you're breathing in and out through the heart, you're breathing through love. And when you bring love into your body and you share it all the way through, up and down, there can't be anything else there because love is taken over. And that's what we want. We want love to be in place of anything that's not balanced. So play with it. You can create your own any way you wish, but the important thing is in and out through that heart, to spread that around. And you can share it with the neighborhood, you can share it with the world, you can share it with the universe. It's endless how you can breathe out that love and affect so many more beings. Okay. Do we have questions, Catherine? I see there might be some there. I think I might want to answer some questions before I go further.
Yes, we've got a great question from Christine. There's a theory that you get adrenal fatigue because your body can't keep up with the demands of flight or fight arousal. If you calm triple warmer when it's not needed, will you help resolve adrenal fatigue?
It's a little more complicated than just calming triple warmer, because you need to actually create balance between triple warmer and the adrenal glands. And there's a few other steps involved in that. But as a quick go-to, I'll just show you this. If you take your 3 fingers, your thumb, index, and middle finger, and put them together in a notch, and you place them right here at the crick of your neck, right above where my necklace is, right where that bone starts, the base of your neck. And then you place your other hand an inch above your navel and an inch to the either side above 1 inch to the side by 1 inch each side. There's your adrenal glands. Okay, and now I am harmonizing triple warmer with my adrenal glands to help create balance and restore energy. And you can do this as much as you wish. You can do it for as long as you wish. Some people will feel it very hit right away. I do it a lot when I've had a really stressful day, just so that I can take that load off the adrenal glands so they don't get overstressed, and I create that harmony again between my triple warmer and the adrenal glands, because they are so closely related. But someone who's in true adrenal fatigue needs a little bit more work than just this little maneuver. This is just a quick little, let's just harmonize things, okay? But if you suspect you've got some adrenal fatigue, you probably should get with an energy practitioner to help with all the other systems that are affected by it to create your balance. But this is a good tool to get started, taking that stress off the adrenal glands.
Gail, can you repeat that? Is it the left hand on the throat and the right on the adrenals?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You're just going to use the 3 fingers in the neck. You can use either hand, okay, at the base of the neck, and you're going to put the other fingers an inch above the navel and an inch to each side. So they're like navel's here. You're going to go to the side and up 1, side and up 1 inch. And that's where the location of the adrenal glands are. So whatever is comfortable for you. I mean, I'm right hand dominant, so that's why I grab my right hand, but it doesn't matter. And I can already feel a shift already from doing this, that triple warmer in the adrenals just synchronized nicely for me.
And Gail, if I could just take a quick moment, I think almost everyone is, but if you're not, don't have your microphone muted, if you could just please double check and do that, everybody. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions there then?
I think we're okay for now.
Okay, so we'll move on then. All right, so in continuing to restore balanced emotions, connecting the navel and the third eye chakra. The third eye is here at the forehead. This is the 6th chakra. We call it the third eye. And so what you would do is you use your middle fingers on these, and you place the middle finger on the third eye, right between the eyebrows. And then the other middle finger goes in the navel, and you poke it in there, and you pull it up nice and firm, and you take a couple of breaths. And this is called hooking up in the energy medicine world. And we're connecting these 2 centers, and there's a whole lot involved in this. For the purpose of this class, just know that you're connecting upper and lower energies. You're connecting through the aura, and you're also connecting through the nervous system. And this really has a calming effect. It can stop frustration, anger, fear responses. I used this on a child in Walmart when she fell down in a seizure one day, and it stopped her seizure. So it really is a very powerful way of connecting your energy systems. It connects a lot of them, but to help with fear response, give this a try the next time you become afraid of something or something startles you into feeling fearful. You will notice that it just sort of slows it down and evens it out for you to be able to take action from a non-fear-based stance and be able to deal with the situation without an unbalanced emotion. And if, I'm sure probably everybody, I mean, we're human, right? So I've had my share of human moments. So if I am feeling fearful and all of a sudden my child walks in the room and he takes my attention away from where I'm feeling, I'm going to act on him instead of it just being within me. So now I'm sharing my fear, but it's coming out of anger because I don't know how to deal with this fear I'm having. So I'm going to get mad at my kids for doing silly things just because I'm unbalanced. Gosh, if I would have had this information when my kids were little, oh my gosh, I would have been such a better mother. But you don't beat yourself up. You just move on in life and you do the best you can with what you have and never stop loving. You can do Donna Eden's 4 thumps and tapping these areas for about 10 to 15 seconds. So I'll show you how we do that. And if you want to join me with it, that would be great. And then if you have questions, you'll know. So we're going to start out by tapping right under the cheekbones here. Okay, this is our grounding thump. So we thump for about 10 to 15 seconds. You breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Remember, the breath helps you relax. Okay, then you're going to tap just underneath the collarbone on either side of the sternum, about an inch or so underneath that collarbone in the dip between the second rib there. And that's where the kidney meridian ends, called K27. And so we thump there really hard and firm. And we thump really firm because we're trying to stimulate lymphatic zones to get the meridians stimulated as well. And we're trying to also clear stuck energy and maybe some toxic energy. So we're jarring it loose through that lymphatic and through the meridian, because this is actually the end of that meridian that we're thumping. Okay. And then you're going to go to the center of the chest, right on the sternum. Okay, and that's the thymus gland. It's right between right where my breast used to lay. Not anymore. It's a little higher up than that now. But right there, a couple of thumps there, and breathe. And then we have right in the front, underneath the breasts, one rib underneath the breast, you're going to thump there and breathe. And along the side, right down the center of from the armpit to the bottom of the ribs, you're going to thump there. Okay, this and this are like considered one thump together. That's the spleen, and that's about our immune system. And this really takes down the emotions a lot of notches when you do these thumps. And the sooner you do the thumps, when you notice that you're feeling this fear, the sooner you're going to be able to get back into balance, because you're loosening lymphatics, which carry toxins. So you're releasing toxins. You're causing your body to relax. You're doing the breathing to bring in the oxygen, to oxygenate all of your tissues, and stimulating your immune system with your thymus gland and the spleen thumps. Then the immune system kicks in and everything just gets all back, gets the energy back that the stress is taken from it. And once these major areas get that energy back, you can function in a lot more peaceful way. So that's what we call the 4 thumps in energy medicine. Tracing triple warmer backwards to calm your energies and your stress response. And you can use this for any emotion that's out of control, but it's really good for fear. And you're going to start at your temples, right at the temple, and you're going to trace backwards over the ear, behind the ear, down your neck to your shoulder, and down the back of your arm and off the back of your ring finger. And what you're doing with this is you're tracing that triple warmer meridian backwards. And when you trace a meridian backwards, you take the excess energy out of it. Okay, it's like emptying a bucket, open the spigot, and it just comes right on out. Right? So you have to do this on the opposite side because you can't trace down your arm on one side, right? So opposite hand to the temple, go above the ear, behind the back of the ear, down your neck, over that shoulder, down the back side of the hand and off the ring finger. And then you're going to do both sides of the body. Okay? Start at the temples and go behind the ear, down the neck and the shoulder, and off the back side of the arm and off the ring finger. And you can do this a bazillion times a day. Okay? And it's very useful, and it really, really helps to just release that fear. And it releases that fear by calming the triple warmer response and letting triple warmer be a little bit safer. And a nice thing to do when you do this is you say, I am safe, I am loved, I love myself, and I love you. And that also reassures your energy system you're okay. Because it's when we don't feel safe is when triple warmer really gets out of control, and then those stress responses become stronger and stronger. And when we're in fear, we don't feel safe. So we have to do some self-talk and talk to our body, talk to ourselves, talk to our energy systems, talk to everything and say, you know, I am safe. There's no harm here. I am loved. And just infuse that within yourself. And then you can even place your hands on your heart and say again, I'm safe, I am loved. And the fear just slowly goes down notch by notch by notch. Now, this is like something that I'm letting someone else in here, so excuse me for that. When you start feeling the emotions shifting and you start feeling the fear coming on, that's when you need to start working with your body. Don't wait until it's full-blown craziness, because it's going to take a whole lot more than what I'm showing you to get things to calm down. It's like a migraine headache. You don't wait until it's full-blown blasting, bug eyes, and nausea, vomiting, and you're knocked out, you can't even stand up. You don't want to wait till you're like that to treat your headache. You're going to treat it when it starts, right away, so that you don't get to escalating those symptoms as bad as they could be. So with everything, with any unbalanced emotion, the minute you notice it, start doing some of these things immediately. And these can be done anywhere you want. The only thing I say is don't do this while you're driving, because you got to take your hands off the wheel, and you got to pay attention to driving. So I don't want to distract anybody driving. Pull over and do it. I've pulled over many times to work on my body because I've been in a stressful situation. Or like last night, I was driving home from Illinois, and the horrific thunder and lightning and windstorms and the rain was just horrible. I couldn't see a thing, and it was dark. So what do? I pull over, and I'm like, all right, I'm nervous. I'm going to nip this. So I started tracing triple warmer backwards. I'm doing my thumps, I'm doing my hookups, and taking in some deep breaths. And all of a sudden, I'm no longer afraid to drive, and I was able to get myself going again. So we can apply these things to so many parts of our life, but don't wait till it's full blown to work with it. And you can do this tracing triple warmer backwards as much as you need to do. There's really no overdosing it, because triple warmer is always kind of on double duty. trying to protect us. And that's another thing I need to say is triple warmer is responsible for the fight, flight, or freeze response. But it's because that energy system is trying to save our life. That's what this energy system knows. That's what it does. But it doesn't know that the thunderstorm really wasn't going to kill me. Well, it could have if I didn't pay attention to the road, but that's not the point. It doesn't know that my computer crashing isn't going to kill me. It doesn't know that somebody dropping a book behind me and causing me to have a startle response isn't going to kill me. It just knows how to respond to a stress, and boom, there it goes. It hasn't evolved to the point to where it can discern all of these little things that causes us stress during our day as non-life threatening. Okay. It was placed within us at the beginning of time to give us a method to stay alive, because back then we needed to have, there was wild animals trying to eat us because we lived out in the environment. We had no protection. All right, so triple warmer is a good system. It's a beautiful system. We need triple warmer, but we also need for triple warmer to be calm and happy. And this is how we do it. We rebalance it, the energies. We calm it. We love it. We give that system love. We give ourselves love. So I don't want you to think triple warmer is not a good thing. It's vital for us to survive, or it wouldn't be with us. So another thing that we don't do a very good job of, and I'm guilty as charged, being grounded. I walk around not being grounded for like 2 days until I realize what is wrong with me. And then I'm like, oh, duh, Gail, you're not grounded. Hello. So I get myself grounded and things certainly improve. So grounding connects us to the earth, and it helps our energy to flow up from the earth. So the way that it works, the energy of the earth comes from our earth star chakra. The earth star chakra is about 18 to 24 inches. Some sources will say more than that, some a little bit less, but it's that far beneath our feet into the earth. And we want to connect to that earth star chakra so that we can have all the energy of the earth come up through that chakra, up into our root chakra, and traverse our whole body, going up through all of our chakras, balancing them, going out to the universe, and then the universe returns that energy back down all the way through to the earth star chakra. So we are a cycle of energy, a complete fountain and cycle of energy, up and down and around through all of our chakras. And I'm going to show you a little picture of what I'm trying to say, because this says it all. Okay, so you can see at the feet, the little dots down the center are the chakras, and it comes out the crown, connects to the universe, and comes back down and around. And so this is really what we really look like walking around in our energy suits. All right, so we want that continuous flow. But if we don't connect to that earth star chakra, we are missing that vital piece of grounding. Now, I've been doing this a long time, and I find that I seem to have a hard time staying grounded and hooking grounded without constantly being aware of it. And then in my clients, in my practice, I was having problems with people not being grounded constantly. And then I'm like, okay, just look at these chakras a little bit more. And I could see that they weren't connected, and I wasn't connected to the earth star chakra itself. Even though I would do everything I could do that I knew how to do to get myself grounded, it wasn't sticking until I recognized the earth star chakra and brought that into my awareness. And now when I ground, I'm bringing that earth star chakra energy all the way up through, all the way out and around and back down again. And it's made such a huge difference. And my clients have said the same thing, that they're like, wow, that was just really super different than I've ever felt before. So and this is something that I don't know how mainstream the Earth Star chakra is. I know a lot of times it's not real mainstream knowledge, or it's forgotten knowledge or something. I don't really know, but I know it's important. So connect with your Earth Star chakra. Walk in the grass with bare feet and connect to that Earth Star chakra, and you are like super glued to that earth. It's just awesome. Get a spoon. Go to, well, whenever they open up again, Goodwill or Salvation Army, go get some spoons that stick to a magnet. Just take a little old magnet with you, and whichever one sticks to, that's the one you want. I go and I buy them for 29 cents a piece. I give them away every time someone comes in my office. Take this spoon and rub it on the bottom of your feet. Just rub it. And this changes your polarity so that you can stick to the earth and be more grounded. Very, very powerful little tool. It's even got little hearts on it. Isn't that fun? That was just a luck of the draw. So that's a couple things about being grounded. You can open the pathways between the bones of the feet to allow that energy to come down your body and out the feet. Now we walk on concrete all day long. Our feet are getting smashed. I'm just pretend this is my foot. All the little spaces between the bones of the feet get crushed together, and then energy doesn't go through. So if it can't get through, it can't get in. So how do we get grounded? But we open up those areas, and we take our fingers and we press between the bones and we rub them open, and you press really deep between those bones, okay, on all of them, and then you pull that energy off your toes. So you've opened the circuit, and now my feet will accept that energy flow. It'll come out and back in again, because now the gate is open, and that's what we call these. These are my hand gates. They get stuck just as much as the feet gates do, because we're always on computers. We're always like this. We're carrying heavy things. And so we need to open these gates up. And the feet gates are exactly the same as the hand gates, except I haven't done my yoga today, so I can't lift my leg that high to show you my foot right now. So we'll just pass on the foot. But same thing, just rub between those bones. Pull that energy off, get your little spoon, rub the bottom of your feet, think about your Earth Star chakra connecting, breathe through your heart, push it down your feet, out into your Earth Star chakra, come right back up to your heart, go out the crown, and you've got a great way of grounding. Okay. To help with fear also is the Mellow Mudra hold. And you can see that on the picture, the way the fingers are. This is how you hold your fingers. It's like the okay sign, right? And you place your thumb and your index finger right at the side of your temple, and the three fingers that are loose just lay across your forehead like so. Now, the picture here only shows one on there, but I had to take the image, so I only used one hand. But this is how you do it. And what this does is it works with releasing that excess emotion. It calms the brain, the neurovascular component of our energy systems. And this is beautiful to do anytime you're just feeling any kind of fear whatsoever. Just don't do this while you're driving. This can just like let you nod off and go to sleep. It's so beautiful and so calming and relaxing. You can do this at night when you can't fall asleep. It helps you to fall asleep. It quiets the ego mind. It brings blood to the fore of the brain. And again, when you have blood circulating in your brain, the excess emotions aren't there. There's been PET studies done, CT scans, MRIs done on different emotions. And when you have a fearful emotion or an unbalanced emotion that you experience, the blood leaves the forebrain. And when that emotion is gone and it's replaced with love and joy and peace, then the blood comes back to the brain. So where there is blood in the brain, there can be nothing but love and joy. Once again. So very beautiful way to help yourself feel peaceful and having that joy come back. Another neurovascular point holding is, and this one is specifically for fear, is you'll place one hand, either one makes no difference, over the forehead lightly, so you're covering just above the eyes, and the other hand you're going to place on the back of your head, right where the eyes sit, so behind the eyes. Okay, and you're going to hold this for anywhere 1 to 3 to 5 to 10 minutes, whatever it takes to get out of that fear. And this is really powerful. It helps to actually process out that excess emotion and get rid of it, and it restores that harmony and balance, because we are restoring the blood flow to the front of the brain again, and we're calming the neurovascular points, which is the nervous system and the blood vessel system, for fear at the same time. So that's why this is so powerful. And again, don't do it while you're driving. But you can fall asleep this way too. It's just amazing how this works. It's just beautiful. And I'll say, to help you even feel better, once you've done this and you're feeling good, go back in and do these 4 thumps again and rejuvenate your system and bring up some more energy for you. Get yourself regrounded once that unbalanced emotion is gone, and you're going to feel super good, and you're going to get that closet cleaned, and you're going to get all of that stuff done that you've been delaying because you felt unbalanced. So life will start having better meaning for you. You can resume it. So any other questions?
I don't see anything yet, Gail, but I think what I am most struck by as you've been speaking is the as someone who's fairly unconnected to their body, as you're speaking about the wisdom of the body, and how that can bring you out of getting stuck in ego and not meaning to, but constantly going over and over overthinking and thinking that through the brain is the way to solve through the brain to get rid of the emotion, when that's not how to process it, that the body is what needs to process the emotion. And so I guess that's not quite a question, but I'm really struck by the wisdom of the body. How there's a quote, you can't solve the same problem the same way you got there, you have to use something else. And so if you could maybe just speak to that.
Yeah, the body is very wise. It wants to be healthy, and it knows how to be healthy. And that's why we have lived for all these thousands and thousands and thousands of years, is because the body took care of itself, and the body taught us how to care for it. Now, all those years ago, that this was the only way people stayed healthy. There was no medicine. There wasn't anything else. It was just the bodies and the energies of the body. People listened to what their bodies said. And by listening, not just with the ears, but the heart. Okay, they were in tune with their heart, and they silenced their egos, and they listened, what does my body need? And if you ask yourself this and you ask your heart this, what do I need to feel better? What do I need to calm this, to rebalance that? Your body will tell you. But if you're up here in ego listening to scatter chatter, you're not going to hear, because the heart gently whispers to us. It doesn't shout and scream like this little 2-year-old up here in our head. So, the loudest one gets heard the easiest, but it may not always be the right answer to listen to. So the body really knows. And when you have an ache and a pain, stop and listen. Why do I have, and ask, why do I have this ache and pain? What am I doing to cause this? And what can I do to change it? Your body will tell you if you quiet this. Yeah.
Thank you. We do have a question from Nicole. Are there particular times when water is more likely to become imbalanced? Is winter when it's more or less balanced?
Okay. Winter is the season for water, and it goes back to the beginnings, and the beginnings of time. The beginnings of everything begins with water. Everything as it was created started as water. And that's why on the rhythm glow wheel, it's the first element, water, the beginning. Okay. So in connection to the emotions, it doesn't mean that your emotions are more likely to be more balanced or less balanced in winter time. But winter is the season of water, the beginnings.
So, and I couldn't see this part when she first asked the question. So when kidney and bladder are more or less balanced. So it doesn't really necessarily matter what the season is for something to be imbalanced then.
I could be totally out of balance all winter long with kidney and bladder, depending on what else is going on in my life. It's not just about the season of winter, because there's so many factors that influence the flow of the energy through the body. I could be perfectly unbalanced in the summer with kidney and bladder as well. So you can be unbalanced or balanced at any given time. During the season that those two elements are present, the water, the bladder, and the kidney, they have the ability to be really strong for you because that's their time. Okay? But depending on what else is going on in your life, doesn't mean that they're going to be really strong for you. They could also be highly susceptible to problems given your stress levels and what you're experiencing in life. But they could be very, very, very strong that whole season of winter for you. But it's all about what else do we experience? What's in the environment? What's going on in my mind? What's going on in my life? Where am I at? What are my experiences that I'm having that's going to influence the flow to my kidney and my bladder meridians and my organs? I will say this, there are not more bladder infections because of it being not associated with winter, okay? You can't associate all the problems with the elements, with the seasons particularly. Now, it could be someone does develop issues for each season and rhythm, and their elements are affected by them, or their meridians are affected by that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the season causing it. There's so many things that cause us imbalance in the world today. It's a complex answer. And I hope I didn't really totally confuse everybody on that.
It looks like I don't have any more new questions right now.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do here is another thing for fear that I wanted to share with you is if you go on to the website, which most all of you have been on, you can download this little booklet. And this is how to help triple warmer calm so you don't look like this. Okay. It's a little free booklet that I put together a long time ago, but it's very, very applicable to be using on a daily basis. And it talks about tips for avoiding stress, the stress responses. And it's all about creating balance between triple warmer and the other systems, and specifically with spleen, which is our immune system, and with our aura, the neurovasculars, being grounded, tracing figure eights through your system really helps. And then to get some radiance going, we all want our radiant circuits to be active and doing their job for us. And what they do is they give us our radiance. And then we glow with beauty and love and joy and all of those very positive things. We just glow with that. The easiest way to do this is to just draw a heart around your face like this 3 times while you breathe in. Okay, and then you draw a heart around your chest. Okay, 3 times, starting at the heart. And then you draw a heart from the bottom of that second heart all the way down to the feet and back up. And you don't even have to bend all the way over. You can just push that energy down there and bring it up. And then one nice big heart around you. And that really gets a lot of our radiant circuits reactivated and working really well for us. And the more you do it, the more it works for you, easier and easier and easier. And now all I have to do is this once or twice, and I can just feel all my radiant circuits light up because I've conditioned them so much to do that for me. And believe me, when I was at the hospital working, I did this about 1,000 times a day because it was a stressful environment and I wanted to maintain my radiance. So when I felt my energy starting to go down, I was doing this and this, okay, and this all the time. We have to maintain all the time because we're not static pictures. We're living dynamic energy beings. So the energy is flowing and moving back and forth, and something's always going to be affecting how that energy flows in our life, because the world is dynamic. So we always have to maintain and stay healthy. That's how we stay healthy. So if you haven't gotten this book, download it off my website and keep it in your pocket. I laminated this so I could put it in my pocket and it wouldn't get destroyed, because I carried it with me everywhere I went and put it in my lab coat for years. I did that. So I wanted to share that with you. And I think really that's all I have.